Hey guys, so today we're going to be installing the Rigid Industries D-Series Pro spotlights, and we're going to mount them on top of the DZ Cowel brackets. They're going to go right there. So stay tuned and we'll get going on this install. So before we get started, I want to show you guys what came in each of the packages. For the DZ Cowel brackets, comes with just the instructions. Pretty simple, easy to follow instructions. And then it also comes with the two cowel brackets and the hardware. So the hardware is already open because I wanted to thumb through some of the stuff that was already in there, but it's just washers and bolts and spacers. But yeah, the reason why I chose these cowel brackets are because, I mean, aesthetically, I think they look really cool, but also it gives you a lot of different mounting positions. You can go, you can have one light up in the front, one a little bit higher in the back. You do them on the sides. And they look like pretty good quality, nice powder coat finish on them. And then it comes with these extra brackets, which you would, position on your mounting bracket if you wanted to have a light a little bit higher, maybe one lower in the front, one higher in the back, or just have one light, a little bit higher or on the side. So yeah, these will work and look great. Okay, so for the Rigid Industry spotlights, the D-Series Pro, it came with the light itself. It came with two of them, and I've already torn apart the hardware and put these together, already, so you can see the little mounting bracket right there for it. But yeah, it came with that. It also came with, the hardware and the wiring harness itself as well. I took it apart because I've got the auxiliary switches, so I'm just going to use this end where it connects the two lights, and then it has a positive and negative battery terminal. So this one will go to my auxiliary switch, and this will just go to the ground in the engine bay. One other thing I want to show you that I purchased for these spotlights were just some covers, so that way you won't bang these up, having them exposed on the highway, let's say bugs and different things of that sort. So I don't know if these are really worth it. They're 20 bucks each for one of these covers, but when I did research these, they have covers for different colors as well: green, blue, amber. I don't know how well the amber actually works, but it's an available option. So they just pop off and pop on just like that. All right, so step one is to remove the panels, and you're just going to use your T40 bit to remove those screws. All right, once you have that panel off, just put a cloth down so you can rest your light right there, and you're going to connect your light to your wiring harness. It doesn't matter which side because they're both the same length. Here, just click right in, and then you can take the wiring harness and just set it to the side and run the wire underneath this piece of foam. To the little gap that they provide for you right here by that bolt. Now with that in place, you can kind of cinch things up kind of tight in there. That length of cord is actually necessary, so that way it can feed up and through and be mounted as far forward or back as you want. Once you put the light mount it on, you can then pull the slack through or give it some if you'd like. All right, so once you slid this panel back on, you can put these two F spacers on. They're just indicated as F by the instructions, right here where those two top screws would go. You're gonna wanna take your light and feed it through this part of the DZ mount, because when you mount it eventually, that cord's gonna be hidden behind it. So go ahead and place that out of the way. Take your short bolt with your larger washer, one of the larger sizes that it comes with. Put it right in, take your spacer, and start on these bottom ones. Just loosely install them, finger tight. Okay, once those are finger tight, you can go ahead and install your light just right on top, wherever you want to position it. I'm going to position it on the second hole right there. So I'm going to use the included hardware for the rigid light. I'm going to put the bolt through, and then I'm going to place the hardware down, the flat washer, spring washer, and then tighten it with the nut. All right, once you have the light loosely installed, now you're gonna just loosely install the top bolts for this panel, and you're gonna use the included, longer bolt and the smaller washer for this. All right, now that you have these top bolts loosely installed, you're gonna snug these down with your hex key, and you're just gonna do these snugly. If I can find torque specs on this, I will include them. All right, now that you've snugged those down, you're gonna take a T30 star bit and snug down these top ones. Again, just snug. All right, so now you have one side down. I'm going to tighten this nut for this little bracket right here, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, so far that looks pretty good. All right, so now what you're going to want to do is take your wiring harness that came with the spotlights, and you're going to clip off that negative terminal that led to the rest of the wiring harness. And I've already installed this. I'll show you how I did that just now. But you're going to install in a little eyelet to connect to a negative bolt in your engine bay, and make sure that I chose the largest bolt from this terminal kit I got off Amazon, which I think is the 16 to 14. And just crimp that on, so now you can have your 2 points of your positive and your negative end to hook up to the lights with this wiring harness. So I'll show you how to crimp that on right now. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to want to take your wire cutters, and I'm going to use the 12 gauge to split this or strip this off, and only strip off just a small amount, just enough to go inside of that eyelet terminal. Make sure you twist it from the bottom so it's flush. Take your eyelet, and it will slide in and stop because the insulation is being stopped by the eyelet. And you can see just a little bit is protruding. That's probably a little more than you really want, but that'll do fine. And you can see if it focuses on this eyelet, the split is on the top. So you're going to take your crimpers. I'm going to use the 22 to 16 or 22 to 18 spot, and make sure that the female side is on that. The female side is on that split. There you go, and that's crimped down, and you're good to go. Okay, so now that you have your wiring harness running from the driver's side, splits down to the positive and negative ends, and then to the other side on the passenger side, you're going to want to zip tie all this wiring up so it's nice and neat running across the engine. And then I'm going to actually tuck all this back in underneath that panel so it's just out of the way. And then I'll probably run this around the back end of the fuse box up to these auxiliary switches right here. So what we're going to do is take a 10mm socket and just remove this and install your ground. All right, take your ground. All right, now you're gonna wanna strip one of these auxiliary wires. I'm gonna do auxiliary 3. Auxiliary 3 and 4 are lower ampage, so they're really meant for accessory lighting, whereas 1 and 2 are for like more powerful accessories like a winch or something of that nature, or a CB radio. So I'm gonna use my auxiliary 3, and I misplaced my wire cutter, so I'm just gonna use a pair of snippers. All right, and since the wiring harness originally had a female spade connector, I'm gonna attach a flat end for the male spade connector on there and just crimp it down. All right, that'll about wrap it up for the install. You can see I got the covers on them, but like I said, it was easy to do. You just clip them on, clip them off. That's basically what it looks like. The wire, what I would do is zip tie probably the wire to this back little bracket right here and just hide the zip tie piece underneath. But yeah, get everything nice and snug. They do sell a black bracket. I don't know why they don't just include it, but it's like 40 bucks for the black bracket, or like 50. They also sell a little lock for the bottom bolt. Really, it's just a specialty bolt that, you know, is really hard to get off unless you have the tool for it. But the problem really with that is that they can still undo the light from here. So, I mean, that's kind of useless to get a $30 lock for this. But I could see wanting the black bracket so it's all, you know, uniform in color. But yeah, I think all in all, it looks pretty good.